Welcome to Sharing the Light, the Sunshine Cathedral's talk show webcast where we discuss theological, ethical, spiritual, and social issues with the cathedral's pastoral staff. Sunshine Cathedral is a metropolitan community church affiliated with the Center for Progressive Christianity. We're located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, we hope you will enjoy this episode of Sharing the Light. Hello and welcome to Sharing the Light. We're glad that you have joined us for this episode. And as always, we were delighted to be joined by the senior pastor of the Sunshine Cathedral, the Reverend Dr. Durrell Watkins. And we're always delighted to mention one of our senior pastor's newest book. It's called Wrestling with God Without Getting Pinned: Old Stories, New Thoughts, and Progressive Spirituality. It's a wonderful book. It's been out on the market now. You can get it through Amazon.com and also other outlets that are available to us for ordering. Dr. Watkins, did you care to say a comment about your recent book?
Well, actually, we're going to be talking about today some of the possibilities for MCC, and so I think I'll talk about it then. But just before we get to that, just go to Amazon.com and get your copy of Wrestling with God. That's all I have to say about it right now.
Great. And also, just as a reminder, we do publish a monthly journal called Spirit and Truth, which is also available online, or if you write to us, we'd be more than happy to send you one as well. And it's also about progressive writing and uplifting positive thoughts, and be good information, good resource for you to have as well. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that a little bit later on as well. Now, recently, several of us have returned from our general conference in Acapulco, Mexico in July, and the theme of the conference was Imagine. And so we want to talk about today possibilities for MCC and that imaginary theme that we're kind of continuing here at the Metropolitan Community Churches. And so, Pastor, why don't you talk about what it means for us to look at the possibilities for MCC?
Well, Metropolitan Community Churches were founded in 1968. In October of 1968, several months before the Stonewall uprising in New York City in 1969, in the summer of '69. So we've been around for a while, and during that time, we have confronted homophobia in the mainline churches. We have we were on the front lines of offering compassion and ministry when the AIDS crisis hit, and we were on the front lines of feminist theology. We've had a gender-neutral, gender-inclusive language policy since 1981, and so we've actually lived into imagining possibilities from the beginning. And but we're in a new day, we're in a new generation, and there's still more to do. And so what we can't just rely on our AIDS work in the 80s and 90s. We can't just rely on our gay activism in the 70s. We can't just rely on the successes of the past. We have to we do have to move forward, continuing doing those things, but knowing there's new things to do. And so this is actually these things that you were talking about. We are a Metropolitan Community Church. Sunshine Cathedral is affiliated with Metropolitan Community Churches. There are several hundred throughout the world, and we're one of them, of course. And what we try to do is we try to be a resource for churches, MCCs, and other churches. And one of the ways we resource people is with our monthly magazine, Spirit and Truth, daily devotionals, prayers, articles, answering Q&A, that sort of thing, all in this monthly. We offer this to our congregation for free. We offer it if people want to subscribe for a donation of any size once a year. And then if churches want to use it for themselves, we arrange to send them bulk amounts for them to use just for the price of postage. And so that's one thing that we as an MCC are doing, and that's one thing that MCC can be doing. Metropolitan Community Churches can resource people. Some churches have great choirs, and those choirs can help resource, do clinics, and teach other choirs how to be great choirs. Some churches have multiple clergy people on staff, and those clergy people can resource other churches as interim pastors and guest preachers and that sort of thing. Some churches have really good religious education programs, and they can use those programs, those curricula, and share those with other churches in MCC and beyond. And so I think one of the possibilities for MCC is to realize what each individual MCC is really, really good at, and then share that to help equip other people. Another thing you mentioned, this book. Well, I've written several books, and we can do that. We can share our thoughts with writing. Other people have published their dissertations or their master's theses. Some people are recording artists and they record CDs, and so just get those positive thoughts out there. Get those empowering and uplifting messages out there for people, and that's one thing that MCC has done. We can do a lot more of in the future. MCC it started in the United States, but we are a universal fellowship of churches, and where we're experiencing a lot of growth right now is in Eastern Europe, in the Caribbean, in Latin America, in Asia, in Africa, and so one of the things about the future is to develop a global consciousness, and not be Eurocentric, not be ethnocentric, not be privileging North America, our values, or or our way of life, or whatever. Is to realize that we are a global community now, and so as we develop a global consciousness, we're going to be able to resource people all over the world. MCC is a progressive movement. It was a profoundly progressive act to say LGBT people are children of God, that there's a place in the church for them, there's a place in leadership for them, that they are part of the wonderful divine diversity of life, and so that was a radically inclusive and progressive and new thought for a lot of people. And so what we can continue to do is, okay, build on that. That probably isn't the last progressive thought we need to have. That's probably not the last barrier we need to break through. And so we can really take the lead on being a progressive voice for positive change, for inclusivity, for theological relevance in the 21st century. And and we've always been an activist church, and we can continue to be an activist church. We can continue to not only advocate for LGBT issues, but also for peace and for environmental healing, and for women's rights, and for the elderly, and for youth, and so on. So I think that our future depends on building on our past, not reliving it, not glorifying it, but continue moving in the direction that it launched us into, and that's into a very progressive, activist, inclusive, and increasingly scholarly way of experiencing and presenting spirituality to the world.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for sharing your thoughts on the possibilities of MCC as we're just coming out of our general conference and looking forward to a wonderful, exciting future with the Metropolitan Community Churches. And so, again, we want to thank you for joining us here on Sharing the Light as well. Thank you for joining us for another great episode of Sharing the Light. Tell your friends about this online ministry, and when you're in Southeast Florida, make sure you worship with us on a Sunday at the 9 a.m., the 10:30 a.m., or the 6 p.m. service. And now for a final word from our senior pastor, the Reverend Dr. Durrell Watkins.
Email me at durrell@sunshinecathedral.net if you have a religious question or if you'd like to subscribe to our daily devotional magazine, Spirit and Truth. We'll send it anywhere in the United States for an annual donation of any size. You can also email us prayer requests, or you can make donations on our website, www.sunshinecathedral.org. You'll also want to check out our great performing arts series, religious education classes, conferences, and other exciting activities. For now, we wish you many blessings on your spiritual journey.